If you ever thought humans were the only ones smart enough to ask for help when in need, then think again. Because in this video, we'll discover how desperate animals called out to people around them for help. But one of the most shocking things about some of these animals is their reactions to saviors once they're rescued. Just like this dog that was tied up inside a compound, this dog had been struggling to break free for a long time before a cop saw it and decided to help. And in the typical fashion of a person seeking freedom for years, this dog didn't waste a second, giving the cop a hug to show its appreciation the moment it was loose. But sometimes, certain animals aren't so big on saying thank you after a kind gesture. These men had to improvise so the ensnared paw of this wild cat could be set free. To avoid getting attacked, they held him down until they could get his paw out of the trap. In situations like this, there's rarely any hope for the animals unless a well-developed brain thinks of something. But the moment this guy was free, he took off faster than they expected and didn't look back. You're welcome, Tom. It is often said that in union, there is strength. And there was no better display of those words than when this dog fought for his life. These people took compassion to a whole new level after holding a man over the edge just to get the dog out of the water. If you ask me, true care doesn't get any better than that. Somewhere across the world, this camel was dying, and its herd had abandoned it because they were under a bridge trying to relax and escape the desert heat. It seemed like it had been there for hours until this man found it and gave him water from his bottle. Not only did that act save the camel's life, but it also gave it the strength it needed to make its journey through the hot desert. There are some occasions when the rescue mission is a little rough. At this point, this deer had its horns trapped and was not ready to keep calm. The only way for the rescue team to solve the problem was to either get it to chill out or hold it down against its will so they could free its horns. If the wildlife rescue team didn't work smart and fast, there's a fat chance they would have also needed saving, and the deer may take way longer to get back to the herd. Looking at this guy, I can't even imagine his fate had this man not stopped to get his head out of that jar. I wonder if that was a honey jar though, but a thirsty serpent drinking from a glass is just the thing you need to drop your jaws. This snake needed a drink, and someone was bold enough to oblige the animal. Now that is an unusual act of love, don't you think? Yet, look at this little guy. With a little help from a good man, the world felt like a better place again. I'm sure its mother was super grateful too. Just don't go running off again, Johnny. Another baby got lost somewhere, but it just might have been one of the best things to happen to the animal. This cub was lost and separated from its family. Her life was clearly at risk until a man found her and took her in. He cared so much for the cub, and she flourished under his supervision. Now that she's developed into a strong lioness, she still loves her owners, and they've decided she's for keeps. After all, letting go is hard when the heart's grown fond of someone. Not to mention if that someone's a big cat you raised yourself. But it seems to be some sort of unspoken rule. Once you find them in distress and you take them in, they don't want to leave you anymore. This old man continued to care for the pup, and they became best friends. Once it matured, it continued to walk by the old man's side and protected him from strangers. But of course, we can't expect anything less from an animal known to have loyalty coursing through its veins. What could be more heartbreaking than a mother dog watching her puppy helplessly as he struggles with life? No one could ignore the dying puppy as its mother's posture said louder than she could bark, "My kid is dying." Isn't it amazing how he got back on his feet after people helped treat and feed him? Had he not been rescued, he would have died from hypothermia. But now, he's happily reunited with his mom and siblings, and she's grateful to see her puppy thriving. It's hard to think you can find a person willing to go as far as conducting CPR on a dog just to save its life. This kind man found the dog unconscious and decided to help the dog by conducting CPR on it. After a few seconds that saw everyone rooting for it to wake up, it started kicking and got on its feet. I don't know about you guys, but that man is a hero. For this mother sloth, getting her baby picked up for her was one of the best things that could happen to her at that moment. I mean, who knew how long it took her to get up there in the first place? But the gratitude in that handshake is as audible as it can be. As for this turtle, it was lucky to find a deep-sea diver interested in removing what was stuck between its flipper and its mouth. A well-needed intervention. Thanks, buddy. This little wonder had to be returned to the ocean immediately it was discovered. Hopefully, it finds its mother out there. But have you ever thought of saving something that's potentially lethal? Well, these men found themselves a hammerhead who was at their mercy. He had a hook stuck in its mouth, and people watched in amazement as these men tried to unhook the shark. A risky but satisfying task at the end of the day, as the shark was free and pulled back into the ocean. This other great white suddenly washed up on the beach, and people were afraid. Nevertheless, the shark needed help getting back into the water as soon as possible. Thankfully, these men combined their strength to pull it all the way back into the water where it belonged. A story that brought me to tears was the one of a calf who had lost his mother to an illness. It was born in a slaughterhouse, developed severe pneumonia, and needed treatment as soon as possible. A set of people took him in and started to care for him, providing the cow access to treatment and proper nourishment. This little guy got his energy back and even made friends with the dog and other cows in the barn. And even though this cow had lost its mother, it received great love from his helpers and found a place he could call home. Some people seem to have no choice but to risk their lives for animals. In this case, this man had to save 3 snakes before it was too late. Somehow, they had gotten trapped in an irrigation pond and needed help immediately. But he had to tread cautiously, even though it was a bit of a struggle. Finally, he got the cobra out and proceeded to bag it immediately before it tried to get smart. However, the second snake wasn't much of a challenge to catch, mainly because it was non-poisonous and the man was confident around it. And finally, getting the last cobra was a success as well, thanks to the man's skillfulness. But this poor bird was this close to getting killed by the cold, and it came as a shock to the car owner when he heard scratching on the roof of his car, just to discover a little bird wedged in between, wet and shaky. Immediately, he understood the mission and got to work. Within a short time, the little birdie was up on his feet again and ready to fly. Wish I could spend more time, but I got worms to catch. This elephant was distressed because her baby had been trapped in a muddy hole for some time. How wise of her to make as much noise as possible to attract the people around. But she was stuck in an electric fence and got stunned. The power was turned off, and the minute she regained herself, she led them straight to her baby to be rescued. She watched from a safe distance while he got him out, and they were reunited. All these stories show just how much humans are willing to help animals in their time of need. And this may be the secret ingredient to a richer relationship between humans and animals. If you've helped an animal in need before, then share your story with us in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe for new videos. Don't forget to let us know your thoughts in the comments below.